What is going on, YouTube? How are we doing today? I hope everybody's having a wonderful, fantastic Sunday. Today we got why NHL players don't want to play hockey in Canada. This video was published by Hockey Psychology. Let's see what this video is about.
NHL players don't want to play in Canadian markets. But why? It's been 30 years since a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup. And as fans,
20?
it can be perplexing to believe that a professional athlete doesn't want the glory that comes with ending a long and painful drought.
Why?
But this past summer, we've seen some comments from NHL players discussing the pressures of playing in a Canadian market. Most recently, defenseman Radko Gudas stated in an interview that he received offers from Calgary, Edmonton, and Toronto, but he didn't want to play in Canada, especially in Toronto. He said that the media pressure in the playoffs was crazy and that he even felt it even though he played on Florida. This is after a former Conn Smythe winner in Ryan O'Reilly said something rather similar about his decision to leave Toronto in free agency. The underlying theme here is clearly pressure. In Canada, hockey is the country's main sport.
Yep.
Canadian markets live and breathe by their franchise. You're on top of the world when you're winning, but when you're losing, it can become a nightmare. The reality is that not every player wants that type of pressure on them 24/7.
That's true.
And when you boil it down to what happens on the ice, it really makes sense. Hockey is a game of constant mistakes. The team that wins is the team that minimizes their own mistakes while simultaneously forcing the opponent to make more.
Okay, that's just in every sport. I understand how that's a lot of pressure. If a Canadian team has not won in 20 years, being the player to do that, being the star player to do that, could be so influential. I think a lot of it's kind of like crazy to me that a lot of players don't actually want that title and aren't going for that, because I feel like, especially since there are a lot of Canadians that play hockey, that somebody wouldn't want to do that for their country. You know what I'm saying? That's a little weird. And yes, I understand the pressure, bro, but it's just like at the end of the day, all that pressure is on social media, dog. Just uninstall that shit. Get a manager to fucking deal with that shit. If any like reporters ask you some dumbass question, just laugh it off, bro. Like, I feel like people should be like kind of wanting to do that for Canada. But at the end of the day, I'm not Canadian. I'm from the US, so I could give less of a fuck. Let's keep going.
In a Canadian market, every single mistake is broken down and criticized by fans and the media. That is extremely frustrating as a player, considering
tough.
It is almost impossible to go an entire game without making one mistake or mental error. Now imagine if you're a less talented player or even a rookie starting out in the league. Your mistakes get picked apart even more, and eventually you can become public enemy number one.
This is what comes
There's been
with the
countless
fucking
examples
fame
of this
and
over
like
the years,
being the
and
top of your sport.
for that reason, most players simply don't want that for their game and their career. The culture in hockey is also inherently team first. It's why some people love the game, but it's also why others believe it hasn't been able to hit the stratospheric levels of popularity like the NFL and NBA.
Yeah.
When you come to a Canadian market, you will either be praised as the hero or the scapegoat. In a league where it's widely accepted that the team is the primary focus, any individual attention can be very overwhelming. That overwhelming feeling can snowball onto the ice and slowly leaks into the player's decision-making, resulting in poor play. If the player isn't used to it or doesn't welcome it, it becomes this vicious cycle. Hence,
so it sounds like the NHL just has a whole bunch of fucking Ben Simmons. If you don't know who Ben Simmons is, check out the NBA. Search up NBA Ben Simmons, bro. Just some dude that like got clowned so much on media that he like doesn't even want to play anymore. Bro, that's just what happens with the sport. Like, you're going up that high. Like, just enjoy it and have fun with it. Like, this is like your career. I know it's tough because like if you were put in that situation and you had that much attention, I don't know how I would react because I've never had to deal with it. So I'm sure it's a lot different and it's a lot easier said than done. But it's like, bro, like, you gotta have that mentality being at like the top of what you're gonna do. Like, people are gonna say shit no matter what, bro. You gotta just play your game, play the best you can, and leave a mark on it, bro. I get too, it's a whole team thing, but at the end of the day, it's your career too. You're gonna be remembered. Like, people know you, bro. So it's like you gotta put in some effort and like actually like play the game, because once you get to the NHL,
there's nothing wrong with the decision.
you're playing that game, but then you have a whole nother game you gotta play. And I think NHL players gotta do that more.
Added pressure before coming into the market. But it does give perspective of the types of players that want to come here and succeed in Canadian markets.
Yeah.
In order to thrive in this type of environment, you need to be built differently, not only as a player, but as a collective team. From the GM all the way to the coach and the players, it takes a special group to understand how to effectively deal with the pressure of playing in a Canadian market. Some groups have been more successful
Instagram
than
and
others,
Twitter.
but the crazy part is that no one has found that winning formula since 1993. And while media and fans will look at this whole situation and scoff at the idea that a pro athlete doesn't want the extra attention, it's tweets exactly like this that only confirm why some players simply don't want to play in Canada. You combine that with other things like lifestyle and income tax, Canada simply becomes a destination that many players end up crossing off their list. So what do you think about this whole situation? Do you see this becoming more and more of an issue for Canadian teams moving forward? There's a really, really interesting contract negotiation coming up in Canada very, very soon. So I can imagine the pressure and the media attention that will go down if things go south quickly in those negotiations. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And before we end the video, I want to thank our sponsor.
W video. Yeah, man, I think it's weird because I've been like trying to get into the NHL. And as a new person, kind of like coming into this whole scene and stuff, the players don't like to talk. Like, I haven't seen anything over the summer about NHL at all, unless it's, whoa, sorry, I just hit my mic. That might have been loud as fuck. Like, there's just nothing going on. Like, the media seems like can't get a hold of them, which I understand. I think that's dope. That people want their own lives and stuff like that, don't want all of that attention. That's fire. I completely respect that. But it's just shocking to me how there aren't any names that are like wanting the keys to the NHL. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, you can play too, but you can also have an influence on the other game. And I think there needs to be more variety in the NHL, because like they said, it's a whole team sport. But when you get to this level of play, it's always a player run league. Like, you are the face of it's not the NHL. Whoever's in the NHL is the face of the NHL. They got to realize that, yeah, there's some yin yang with it. You're going to have all this attention. What are you going to do with that? I think people need not to worry about it, bro. If you're a good person at heart, just be yourself. Have fun with the media. Don't be a dickhead. And make your name like recognizable. Like, whether that's putting in the hustle, and also like being media. All these top players that that are like the GOATs and stuff always have a huge media presence. Why? Because they're hustling in the game, and they're hustling with the other back stuff that we don't see. So I think NHL needs a little bit more of that, little bit more hustle. Let me know what you guys think. Are my takes good or not? Let me know. If you guys made it this far, you guys enjoyed, drop a like, sub, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out.